Right, so today I wanted to get out of the studio a bit to chat through something that I've been thinking through and trying to work out myself and constantly am and have gotten some questions about it. So today I'm going to talk through the difference between a worship leader and an artist, where they come together and maybe where they don't come together. And it's kind of funny because the name of this video is From Studio to Sanctuary, and my studio is located right behind this sanctuary, so that's fun. But let's chat. Now let's address the elephant in the room. You're probably thinking, TJ, aren't you a worship leader and aren't you an artist? That's true. But the truth is that for a long time, I kind of fought the whole artist thing. Probably it was just some deep-seated issues and thoughts that I had of myself and of that. But I think also I had just seen it abused too much in the church. I'd seen guys that were worship leaders just kind of build their career as an artist and then kind of disappear and then come to fall off of the faith, or the exact opposite to be true. Artists that get just dragged through the mud at the church because they really want to be artists, but they end up just falling into the 9-to-5 of a worship leader or whatever that might look like. And I just said, oh, you know what? These two things are completely different. I might have been wrong in ways, and here's what I mean. For me, I like to categorize worship leaders and artists in a very similar way, and then that's the sense that we both serve people. When I'm leading worship, I'm trying to serve the people that I'm leading worship for. When I'm an artist and trying to write music, I'm trying to serve the people that are going to be listening to the music. Now, what do I mean by this? What I mean is, if you are worship leading, you are serving a particular people. You're serving the people of your congregation, of your church, that need to sing these songs. You're literally putting words in their mouth as they sing them. Whereas an artist, you're serving a more broader people. You're putting words to emotion, you're putting words to thoughts, and yes, they might sing them eventually, but that's not necessarily the first intent. And I think where this gets a little murky is we see worship artists. We see guys like Chris Tomlin, Elevation, Bethel, all these people doing a similar thing. But I think the problem and the place where we fall short is it doesn't always have to be the same thing. We don't always have to sing the songs we write. I know that's tough. And you might be thinking, well, TJ, what about the songs that I write for my church or with my church? I want to just give two tips of advice, one for the worship leader and one for the artist, and how you can kind of meld these two worlds. The first is for the worship leader. Sometimes we write a song, we maybe started this songwriting culture at our church, which I think is great. I think more churches should do it, especially if we're not going to sing other churches. We should probably write some good songs ourselves. But first thing to consider when you write a song, do my people need to sing this right now? As a worship leader, like I said, you're putting words in people's mouths as they sing congregationally once a week together. Maybe the song that you wrote in your studio or in your bedroom isn't one that we need to sing right now. And that doesn't mean it's not a good song. That just means it might not be for this season of the church, or it might not be for what the body needs to sing together. So just take that into consideration. Sometimes the answer is yes. Maybe you wrote this song out of a sermon series that you guys are going through, or maybe it's just something that the church together is feeling, something that happened within the body that you kind of wrote and put words to emotions and thoughts, like I said before. Yes, sing it. In fact, I think it would be awesome for you all to sing that song. The next is for the artists. Now, I say this a lot, and I say that the church needs artists and artists need the church. And what I mean by that is, like I said earlier in the video, artists put words to thoughts and feelings that sometimes people just need to have. Maybe they're trying to work through this complex thing that the Lord has them in, and they just need artists to help put words to that so that they can kind of work through it, and the Lord can use that to work through it in their life. But it's very hard to do that if you're not in community. If you literally don't have a church that you belong to, how can you be empathetic to a people? How can you serve a people with your art if you don't know those people? That's just something to consider. Artists, stay tethered to your church. If you're traveling, that's fine. Go back. Have a home base. It's important. Not only will it serve you well, it'll serve your family well, and it'll serve your art well because it's actually coming from an honest place. A couple years ago, I was working through this with an older worship leader who's been in this space for a while, and he's also a worship artist. And I asked him, how should I talk about this? How should I frame this idea of that I want to make art, but I also value and love the local church and don't want to use it as a platform? And he said this. He said, one thing I always try to communicate is I want my art and my songs to be birthed out of what the Lord is doing in my family. Where else would it come from? If we want art to be true and authentic to the Christian life, our Christian life, then shouldn't it involve other people? Shouldn't it involve the body? So stay tethered to the local church, and worship leaders, if you wrote a song, just ask if we need to sing it. And again, that's you being tethered to the church and knowing your people and pastoring them well. So those are my quick off-the-cuff thoughts on worship leaders and artists. Tell me your thoughts, or check out some of our other videos where I kind of dive into artists and why they need the church and just how they can serve one another. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this whole topic. I'd love to hear from you. Till next time. Later.